I just want to talk to young people, especially young Black South Africans, that there, there's a huge privilege that these guys they're not seeing. That there's a. I just want to talk to young people, young Black South Africans, because it's really sad when 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 no one tells us this that. And I know teachers used to tell us this in high school, and majority of us we thought that these teachers don't know what they're talking about. If you are still a teenager and you're still in high school, if you're a teenager and you're still in high school, you you're at this point you're very lucky. If you have both parents, if you have a father, if you have a mother, if you have an uncle who's looking after you, who's providing a roof over your head, you're very lucky. Because man, there's gonna come a time when those people they don't have to look after you, when they no longer, it's no longer their duty to look after you. You are not a baby anymore, you're not a child anymore. But right now, while you're still a teenager, while you're still fresh, you need to forget about each and everything wrong outside there. You need to forget about alcohol, you need to forget about smoking. Just make sure you have enough time with your friends, but most importantly, work very hard to prepare, work very hard to put a direction in your life. If you are a young person in South Africa, and especially young Black kids, you must know something, that your parents don't own businesses. It's not like as soon as you finish high school, you can just take your grade 12 certificate and then go to your father's business and start working there. Or take your qualifications and then go to your mother's business or your uncle's business or even your grandfather's business and start working there. We are not white kids. It never happens like that. For some of the white kids, even if the person just has a matric certificate, you can find them in better positions in their parents' businesses, in their grandparents' businesses. But for us, there's nothing like that, except if you make it to the government, maybe with your connections, maybe then yeah, you can have a better life. Everyone who's working in government is doing well anyway. But if you don't have those connections, if you don't have the government connection, and if you don't have the white people connection, the business connection, a connection to your father's business, if you don't have all of that shit, then you need to pave a way for yourself. And that's really difficult. That's why I decided to make this video to talk to you guys. If you're a young Black person in South Africa in high school, and you have a mother, your mother is working in as a domestic worker, your father is working as a garden boy, your father is working anywhere, your parents are working anywhere. I don't care where your parents work, anywhere. As long as you have those parents who are providing food for you, forget about everything else. Focus on your studies. Focus on whatever is it that you want to do. Focus on your craft. If you want to start a hair salon, focus on that. Make sure that you can do amazing things with your hands. If you want to start selling, fish, make sure that you start right now, and then make sure that you focus on that, and make sure that you are super good and you know each and everything about fish, where to catch fish if fish is scarce, where to make sure that you focus on that 100%. If you want to start selling veggies to your neighbors, make sure that you focus on that, and make sure that if you are young South Africans, you need to be super focused, because if you are not, you are headed for poverty. It's sad, because I think over 50% of young South Africans, whether they like it or not, they are going straight to poverty. And it shouldn't be like that. You need to be focused. If you want to study a specific subject, make sure that while you're still in high school, when your parents are still there, make sure that you focus on whatever is it that you want to do. Go all out, go as hard as you can on that. But otherwise, if you're right now, you're in high school, you're focusing on blessers, except if that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life, then you can do that. If you're in high school, you're focusing on alcohol, except if that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life, then that's perfectly fine. But you focusing on wrong shit when you are still young, it's like right now you're a sports athlete. If you're a sports athlete, if you're a soccer player, The only thing that you have to do is play soccer. Everything else is provided for you. The sponsors, they give you money. The sponsors, they give you food. Your team will provide everything for you. A place to stay, probably, and the food. When you go to practice, you don't have to bring food to practice. When you get there, there's food, there's breakfast, there's lunch, there's probably even evening food when you're a sports athlete. So if all of those things are provided for you, the only thing you have to do is become a good sports person. If you have sponsors and you have a team providing everything for you, all you have to do is become a good soccer player. And that goes for each and every other sport. If you're a tennis player and now you're a sponsored tennis player, the only thing that you have to do is become the best in the pitch. The only thing you have to do is become the best in the field. That is the only thing you have to do. If you're a soccer player, you're focusing on alcohol, then you're not going to become a best soccer player. If you're a rugby player, you're focusing on alcohol, then you're never going to become the best rugby player. Each and every athlete, the best athletes in the world, the only thing that destroys their performance is alcohol and drugs. If you're a young person and you're already taking part in these things at such a young age, then really your life and there are a few people who started that way, and then they actually managed to stop and then went on to have a good and a successful life. There are a few people. Majority of people we grew up with who were deep in alcohol, who were deep in drugs, they are still there even today, which means you are starting poverty now and you're going for it. If Whitney Houston can destroy her career with drugs, and I remember Whitney Houston once had a contract of $100 million. If you finish $100 million with drugs, then how much can you finish with just your normal alcohol consumption? Young people finish way too much money on alcohol and drugs, and the money that they're supposed to be spending on things that will improve their future. If you're supposed to be buying, if you want to have a hair salon, at least take that money, prepare so that you can have a hair salon, and then start cutting hair while you're still in high school. If you want to each and everything, start preparing now. If you are in grade 12, start preparing now, because sadly only a few percentage of people you are in high school with right now will ever make it to college or university, and a small percentage of those people will actually finish their college degrees. Another sad part is that those who finish, only a fraction of them will ever get the job that they studied for. And a fraction of those who got the jobs that they studied for will get the payment that they deserve. So if you're in a class, if you're in grade 12 with 100 students, probably only 5 will ever make it to the jobs that they ever dreamed of, they studied for, and they actually get paid good money for that job. That's why you find in the townships only one house where there's a Mercedes Benz. From there, the rest of the streets is not Mercedes Benz. And the sad part is that even when you make it there as a black person and then you start earning all of that money, you cannot bring any of your family members. The white people can bring their family members in, the Indians can do that. You as a black person, you can't, because where you work is not your company, it's a white people's company. It belongs to the Indians. You're just working there. You can never ever take the knowledge that you have there and then push it down to your family members and the next generation. It's just you. If you die, your family is just broke, and if you die, that chain of success ends with you. That is the sad part. So if you are young and you're in grade 12, forget about everything else. So if you are young and in grade 12 right now, in grade 10 in high school, you must make sure that you are super focused, because most of us, we came from Amakaya and we came to Jozi to, for a better life. And when you get here, it's really, really difficult. When you're in high school, utleva and ublale, and you're all this, you're a celebrity in high school. But as soon as you finish high school, all of that disappears. All of that, it just fades away. You're faced with reality. And it fades away as soon as you get your results. In high school, as soon as you get your results, your matric results, that's where boot level disappears. Except if you have wealthy parents, if you have rich parents, then yeah, then then maybe you can continue on with your celebrityness and then go to college with that. But majority of us, as soon as you finish high school, man, that's where the real job begins. You're going to come to Johannesburg, you're going to come to Josie. As soon as you get to Josie, each and everything will be difficult. You're starting afresh, you're starting alone, all on your own. You're starting afresh, you're starting all on your own. You don't have anyone. When I came here, my father lost his job. As soon as I arrived in Josie, my father lost his job, and I had to get a job even though I wanted to study film. All of those things, they just start happening. You would be on your own. I remember there was a time when I was working at Leaks and I didn't have money to go to work. I had to wake up at 6 o'clock and walk 2 hours, 15 kilometers to Karatland Clicks so that I can get there. And I did that, I think for a week before we got paid, because there was nothing. I couldn't call home. My mother didn't have money, and my father was, well, I don't know where the hell he was. There's so many things. I remember even my girlfriends once told me that they just took their CVs and then they started walking, and they walked the whole day, kilometers and kilometers and kilometers. They walked the whole day, just walking. Probably she spoke about, she showed me where they walked from Tembesa to somewhere in Isando. I'm not sure even if you can walk that far, but she told me they walked kilometers. You will walk, you will struggle as soon as you get to Josie, and then there's no one. You don't have parents, you don't have cousins who are already here. You are going to struggle, and it's really, really sad. And that's where you're going to see that, you know what, you should have prepared well when you were young. If your parents are giving you money when you're in high school, don't spend that money on alcohol. It's one of the most, it's one of the worst habits you can ever have, for you to be a teenager and become an alcoholic teenager. It's really, it's a bad habit, and you're starting off with the wrong foot, and you will suffer for the rest of your life, except for those who are really lucky. But majority of us, we are not that lucky. Your parents are not rich, and you are not where you want to be in life. So if you're young and you're in high school and you're black, my guy, my girl, you must know that you need to prepare. Outside there, as soon as you finish high school, it's the wilderness. You are out there on your own. If you think that you will find a man who has money, you are wrong. You are setting yourself up for failure. If you think you're just going to find a blesser, you are the ones who are going to be the victims of gender-based violence. Like, you are the ones who are going to be victims of being killed, because these guys won't spend money on you and not control you. So you need to focus on improving your life. As long as you're in high school and you have your parents, make sure you become obsessed with improving your life. If you want to study further, make sure that you start preparing now. Push as hard as you can. Go for the distinctions so that you can get a bursary after you finish, and then you can get a good job when you are finished. If you want to start a business, if you are interested in starting business, make sure, if you're interested in starting a business, make sure that when you are young, that's one thing that you're obsessed about. Start that business when you are still in high school. If the business fail while you're still in high school, then you have a backup, you have parents. If the business succeed, man, you never know, your parents might even come to your business, and then you might start an empire. But just don't focus on wrong shit. Work hard so that you can have a good life. Sharp.